Alright, so we have a working scene here now, but what we're missing is lighting. Now you're probably thinking, yeah, we've got lights, look at that. Oh, that's fantastic lighting right there. But no, this is not fantastic lighting. This is not mood lighting, there's no sun direction, everything is straight down and flat lit. And that is not what we want. So what we want to do is we want to rotate these around. Let's go rotate around the X a little and rotate around the Y. So we get something like this. Choose. Probably want this the other way actually. There maybe. And that is the direction of our sun. This is going to be our primary lamp. So we can organize our geo here probably. I'm just going to go select everything, deselect that, and deselect our camera, which I don't think we have camera anymore. Well, and I'm just going to parent this to, say, the ground. And with that like that, you can see we now have a lot of relationship lines, which I'll turn off, but our outliner is much smaller. And of course ground, and actually let's undo that. Undo that parent. Let's go Shift C, add in a empty. Call this one here Geo. Select everything except for that. Control P to object. Alright, now we need to select all of these, which I believe are on this layer. Yep, there they are. Alright, so I'm just going to go add in a new empty, and I'm just going to call this Geo Old. There we go, better naming convention. And Control P to object. These are just some old ones that are around. And if we go turn off relationship lines, then that turns off those lines. Okay, so back onto our primary layers. We add in another empty. I'm going to call this one here Lights. And this is one that will parent all of the lights to when we create them. Alright, so this one here is our sun direction. So we want this one here to be, let's move this up. There we go. Alright, so we want this to probably be about 0.5. So darken that up a little. And perhaps a slightly orangey tone, so about that. Now that's much better lighting just off that. It's very dark though. So what we want is to go Shift D, Y, and we want to rotate this around the X to face the other way. Let's move it over here. Basically we want it to be like a bounce. So if that ray hit the ground, came back up, that is where this one would be. And this one is going to be a 0.25. So it's a bit duller. It's not as bright, but it's, yeah, it does light up nicely. Okay, so we end up with stuff looking like that so far. Alright, so that is the two lights in the scene. or two ones that control the lighting anyway. You can brighten these up if you want to have more light, or darken them down, depending on what time of day it is and general settings like that. This isn't a big lighting tutorial, so I'm not going to go into fancy lighting. However, we are going to select this one, duplicate it, all over here. Now this is the only one where the position matters. This one is our shadow lamp. So this one we are going to change into a sun. And turn off diffuse and specular. Actually, I think we do have to have diffuse on. We're going to turn on shadow. Yes, we do have to have diffuse on. So this one here is unique to the Harmony build of Blender. So that's the one that I was talking about earlier on in the series. If you didn't pick up on it, we are now using a Harmony build. So yeah, if you haven't got that, go back earlier. You can get it from graphical.org. I'll just cover that again. And yeah, it's probably in most recent builds of Blender. If I open this up and go to graphical. Alright. So this is graphical.org. Now you can see, just go down, you can see this one here, chunk and patches, add-ons, contrib, external, yada yada yada. So we'll just click into this one. This is Windows 64-bit, by the way, because that's what I'm running. And just go down and you can see different builds that have been added in. And all you want is the Harmony build. So we go Control F and search for Harmony. We can see what's new with the latest chunk, Harmony Phase 1. Now Phase 2 and 3 are awesome, but they are not in yet, so that's just Harmony Phase 1. Now you can actually build your own version of Blender with all these different bits and pieces in them, but that's not essential. So yeah, I mean, just for someone who wants a quick build, jump onto Graphical and you can get a build with almost every patch you want. Some patches that aren't available there, but yeah. Okay, so this one here, we want to change the rotation probably a little, because rotation is probably alright, like so. We will need to change some of the settings for the shadow. So down here, the size, give that a 1024, make it a nice crisp shadow. And probably change the foot in to about 200. And 50. Now these all have different settings. Size is just like basically the quality of the map. You can see now if we move down that brush and size, like 1, we get this, you get like almost no shadow at all. Whereas 50 is a nice way to get all of that shadow appearing. So yeah, to increase the darkness of it, come up here to energy, maybe go like 10, and that brightens the scene up way too much. So what we do is we go down and we go only shadow. And yeah, let's just pop that up a bit more. We should be it has gotten rid of our shadow. So that is unusual. I was doing some some shadows. But yeah, let's just take it back to this. Go energy of 1, or probably a 0.5. And if we just grab this one, I should be able to delete that one. Yeah, so just based off this one. In my test I had that Himalaya controlling the intensity and this one controlling the shadow. But considering that's not going to work for us, let's just do this one. Alright, so rotate around X, give it a bit more shadow, like so. Bump this one up a little to perhaps 0.5, just so that we can get those details in there showing up a bit more. And yeah, just play around with some colours. Colours, by the way, do affect your scene. That's red, blue up there. Bluish looks really cool. It's like a moonlight scene. This was at night. That is awesome. Anyway, it's not at night, it's in the day. So let's come back over to the yellow, soft yellow. Something like this. And our other one is supposed to be a alternative, so this one's supposed to be on the blue side, but it might be a little too blue. Intense, you can have a black light. Yeah. Mostly just playing with different light settings here. So we want it to look cool. So we could go for a night scene if we wanted, but that's not what we're doing. So our junk pile small, so you can make that a little redder, a little more vibrant, like so. Likewise with the large ones, like something like that. And yeah, this is looking nice. Just going to change the colour of these a little and make them a bit darker. Just kind of like darkening up the scene mostly. Make it look like these things are supposed to be there. I'll just take one of those. There we go. And this one. Right, so just playing with those settings a little, and yeah, I'm mostly happy with the scene now. You can see we've got some nice dynamic shadows coming in. Those shadows come all the way over here as well. If you don't find they come far enough, you can change the clip settings, which I changed before. You can see by default, I think it's something like 2 or 20 or something like that. You can see 20 comes across there, but doesn't reach these. So you probably go 100 would go quite far. And yeah, 100 actually works quite well. I put in 200 before, and that's fine. But yeah, 100 just kind of like softens it out at the end. Now, if you find that they're a little too not speckly, a little noisy around the edges, you can just increase this size, so like 248 to the size of the shadow texture, or you can even go something like 8192 for an 8K perfectly smooth texture. Well, not perfectly smooth, but really smooth. But remember that this is all going to eat into your frame rate. Okay. So slightly different when we're working with games rather than production. When we're working with production, we talk about render times. When you work with games, you talk about frame rate. So instead of 20 minutes per frame, it's 120 frames per second. Alright, so this one here, I'm going to leave that at 1024, and that is fine for now. We can bump that up later if we want to. Oh, there's a camera. Very nice. Get rid of that. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to come into the world panel and we're going to look at mist. Now I'm going to turn this on and move around the viewport a little, and poof. This is what mist looks like. Now you want to make sure that the color in your sun, this one, is the same as your horizon color. Horizon color is the color of your mist. You can tweak this a little bit, yeah. Something like this. Just something that looks like dusty, looks, yeah, kind of like that. That is cool. Okay, so let's turn off that grid floor and those grid lines. And it's looking great. Go to save this now. And you can even press P and go play, just to see what it looks like in the render, which is this. And hit escape. And if you have a new version of Harmony, it won't crash. If you have one of the original ones, I've been using Harmony since the first build that came out on Graphical, and that would crash very often. It would crash every time you press escape, basically. So yeah, it's good. It's improved since then. Okay, so let's turn off mist for now. And I'm going to ignore the bullet physics and simulations there. They're very cool, by the way. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to jump over into a new layer. 7, Shift A, add mesh plane. And zoom into this. What we're going to do is scale this up. Like this. Control apply the scale. And we are going to just draw like an outline kind of thing. So we can probably just go Alt R. Let's grab this one, let's go. Something like this, and move it around a little. F, Control T, doesn't work very well. Need to subdivide this one. Oh, that's extrude. Control T, try that. Maybe not. Alright. So that one, that one, that one. Cool. Should be fine like that. Alright, and that is a panel. So we're going to take this back into our environment. Scale it up. Probably looks really weird to you, by the way, having something like this. But there is a point. This here is a mountain. It's a really badly made mountain, but it's a mountain. What you can do is you can use image planes and stuff. This is something I'm just quickly doing for the sake of it. It works alright. So if we come here, turn on our other layer, Alt Z for shading, and we go turn on mist. It will be like, let's go W, remove doubles. There appears to be a lot of, there's one, they've still got that big ink on there. Slightly annoying. Alright, so fill that face, fill that face, fill that face, that one, that one, that one, this one. Alright. So we have what looks like that in the distance. Okay, now we can come in, turn off that, and change the color a little. Let's call this mountain. And just notice these probably won't have any effect at all, because we won't be getting close to them. So yeah, white is fine. And you can of course go Shift D along the Y, GX and bring it closer, and it will fade in. Like so. Alright, now let's come in and make sure we go to Shader View, grab our mist, and we can increase the depth and stuff. So perhaps the depth was 450. So we're getting quite a long range of visibility now. So I want to grab these. And move them closer. See how close I can get them. Alright, about there. Go, so maybe go 600. Kind of just see the distance there. Alright, so now that we can see them, we can give them materials. We want to make them quite bright, quite white materials, so that we get this nice layered effect. And yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Now this is something better done with image planes, by the way. I don't have an image on here. Let's go paint one. Alright, so these are the ones we had before. I'll close these. Close all. No. No. Alright. File new. This can be, I don't know, let's go 256 by Actually, no, let's go 128 by, what's that going to be? 512. Get something like this. Go to the lasso. And we're going to go, let's make it look like a mountain. Alright, so select that. And let's go G, D, fill. Alright, so drag that up over there maybe. You can probably tell I'm not a drawing kind of guy. Alright. Go brush. Just draw in some mountains. You want these to have a nice looking silhouette, but not, yeah. That's it. We won't have any actual colour on these. And they should look like mountains of some sorts. Give it a bit of a sharp piece like this. Going to look a bit better. Alright, that'll do. Let's go File, Save for Web, save that. Let's go Maps, Aim, Mountain, Alpha. Okay, let's come into Blender. Grab these. What I'm going to do is go to yes, cursor to selected, and the plane, and let's go RY90, GZ1, tab out of edit mode, scale it up, scale along Y, something like this. Just go to apply that scale. Apply the scale. And now what I'm going to do, just go tab U unwrap. Actually, let's go U reset. There we go. It'll fill up the entire UV group. Alright, new texture. I'm going to call this one here mountain texture. Image or movie. Open up that image. Which game? Mountain Alpha. This one here, going to go mapping to UV. UV map. And can't see it at the moment. And no color, turn on alpha. And I'm not in texture view, there we go. Alpha, where's the transparency? Transparency down here. And up to 0. And RGB to intensity. Mix. And you can see we've got it around the wrong way there. On UV image editor, tab to editor mode. Let's bring up that mountain, like so. Rotate this by -90. And negative. Obviously I had that painted the wrong way around, so going to negative worked alright. And that works well. Now the little jaggy stuff around the edges, we go to pre-multiply. And that should work. There we go, yep. Alright, so it won't do it in the viewport, but it will pre-multiply will work when you play it in the game engine. So I'm just going to save this for now. Go G on the Y. Go somewhere we would be standing, like here. Alright, so I'm going to go Alt D, X, G, Y, over here. Scale that one up. So we can see it's in the background, but it's also really big. Alright, so this one, I'm just going to give myself a pivot point for my camera. Alright, bring this one forward, right along there, and yeah, we sit here and we'll go P to play. And we can't quite see that one in the background, so I'm just going to go PX, bring this one forward a little. Of course, these are all the same texture, but that's okay. Alright, now we can just see it in the background. Okay, so that is how you make a backdrop of mountains. Just these layered kind of things. So we can come in and just go SY and just bring them up a little, or shrink them down. It's up to you. And yeah, maybe stretch one out a little. I would suggest painting in a few. I'm going to paint in a few later, but yeah, considering this is one of the last videos, it's not a crucial thing. Okay, so that is basically it. So if we go place our window somewhere nice and so that we can see some awesome work of ours, such as here. Hit P to play, and this is what we have currently working in real time at, I don't know what the frame rate is, but on my computers it's probably going to be sitting about 160 frames per second or something on my laptop. So yeah, it's definitely awesome. Cool. So stay tuned for the next tutorial where we will be covering some effects. Okay guys, so we are almost finished this tutorial series. We've come a long way. This is what we've got so far, and it is looking pretty sweet. So I've got our wall there, some textures, models. I've got those two little vehicles there which I threw in for you guys, and of course all those mountains around the back. Now you probably want to go and make some better looking mountains. That's what I just for the sake of the tutorial, and they work fine like that. But this is not finished. It's good, but I want to press play and I want to, use WASD, WASD or the arrow keys to move around the camera. And this is possible. What we're going to do is we're going to split this window and change that into the, where is it? It is one of these, Logic Editor, there it is. Alright. There you go. It's kind of fiddly this, but yeah. Alright, so we're actually going to be adding in some game engine stuff. Now, we're not going to be going over how to create scripts. I may in the future cover a tutorial on writing scripts for the game engine, Python coding and all that stuff. But in this one, we're actually going to download some scripts and use those ones. So I am going to bring you to the development blog of Martin's Uptis. I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, but this is an awesome guy who basically builds a whole bunch of little scripts for the game engine. If we scroll through here, you can see he's working on the Candy Branch at the moment. The Candy Branch is an awesome game engine for Blender. I don't use it much at the moment because I like my lights from Harmony. I like some of the things from the Harmony build. I would love for those two to be merged together, but I'm thinking I may have to do that myself. But yeah, if I do that myself, I'll chuck it on Graphical with the rest of them. So yeah, just scrolling down, you can see there's a few different things here. This is one of the ones that we're going to be using is depth of field. Down somewhere or other. There we go, we're going to be using this one here. We're going to be using his GLSL depth of field, and yeah, that works quite well. Also going to be using his ambient occlusion, which is down a bit further somewhere. See, it's got a fair bit of cool stuff on here. It might be on a previous page. But yeah, he's got a ambient occlusion shader, which is a real-time ambient occlusion, which is cool. And yeah, download the stuff from here. I will, if I can do so, I will put the scripts in the file with a link to his website so that you can get them there. But yeah, this is devlog-martinsh.blogspot.co.nz. So yeah, pretty cool stuff on there. That is where we're going to be getting some of those scripts. I'm going to minimize that now. And what we're going to do is make sure we have our camera selected. I'm going to go File, and I'm going to go, let's go to our text editor, split that across, text editor, and I'm going to go text, open text block, go up to scripts, and we want all of these. So we have depth of field, focus, mouse look, and SSAO. Mouse look is for our moving our mouse around. Okay, so we can come in and just turn those on. Those just allow us to view Python code much easier. And it didn't bring it in. Maybe we have to do it one at a time. Scripts, depth of field, open, text, open, focus, text, open, mouse look, and text, open, SSAO. SSAO is our ambient occlusion, by the way. I'm going to split that over, and yeah, let's have a look. So you can see, there we go, he's got his blog on these scripts as well. And yeah, you can use these commercially as well. There we go, yep, free to share. So I will be able to include these in the resources for you. Alright, so scrolling down, I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. We are not going to go and cover how this is. If you want to learn about this, some tutorials on Blender Cookie, how to use it, some tutorials on blender.org. Yeah, it's fairly straightforward if you know how to use Python. It's not completely straightforward, but you can get the gist of what it's doing. So yeah, let's go ahead, and I'm just going to bring up the reference file on my other monitor, just so that I can go through this quickly for you. And what we're going to do is we first want to have a control for our camera. So let's come in and let's go add game property. And actually we don't need a game property for this, we need a sensor. And this one here, we're going to make a mouse. So that one. And we need a always. Just make sure I get these all in the right order. Alright, so the controller is going to be a mouse look script. So that's going to be Python, so we can load in the script. Mouse look. And that one there should work fine for us. So make those up. And with always, we're going to check this always true button. So that one there's basically makes it work, so it's always on. Alright, and hit P. And we can move around with our mouse. And that is pretty cool. So we can also use our WASD keys and we can move around, run around our scene as if we were in the game. Notice the speed of this makes our game look very small, like it's a very small wall instead of a massive one. That is easy to fix, just slow it down a little. So I mean, yeah, it's moving very fast at the moment. So let's escape that and let's move on to another one. Let's just minimize, minimize, minimize. Okay, so that is our script for moving around. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to add in the ambient occlusion and we're going to add in the focus. So to do this, we're going to go add game property, this one here. I'm just going to add them in the order. These don't need to be in the right order, but yeah, it's just what I've got on the other screen. Alright, so I'm going to add another one. This one here is going to be show focus. Now, if you're unsure about how properties work, basically scripts can tie in with the properties that we have listed here, and they can access them and do things with them. So if we change that over to Boolean, then yeah, that one there will be our show focus, and that allows us to turn focus on and off. Alright, so focal length is the other one. This one here, I'm going to give that a 35mm lens, which is a fairly common one. And next one, we are going for a stop. And stop is set to 1. Alright, next one, f-stop, that's the camera setting, by the way. And I'm going to set that to 0.25. This one here will effectively give you a vignette effect in the game engine. Alright, so add game property. This one we are going to be calling hyperfocal. And that's set to 0. And we need a depth of field near, depth of field far. If you want these in a big list, the shader he's got on his website, on that website I showed you before, this one, he's got it down here somewhere. I find the one I'm using. There we go, so version 2.3, this is the one I'm using. I downloaded his blend file and I messed around with the settings a little, but mostly I am just using the settings there. Use the settings there and it should run fine for you. Great. Alright, so we're also going to add in one more, which is total. Alright. So with that said, we can add in a few more actuators and sensors. And controllers, of course, going to be using some ands. Alright, so we're going to add in a always and add an array. Let's see what we've got. We have a property the property, change this. Yeah. Actually, no, we don't want a property. We want to change the property, this one, to a negative Z. That one there is based on camera, by the way. Alright, so add in the mouse. I'm just going to quickly go through this as it's on his website. So range of this one, let's set to 500. Alright, add in another always. This one here is set to on. A new one, this one here is going to be keyboard. And this one here I'm going to give a 1, which is the same as what he's got. It doesn't have to be 1, it can be what you like. But basically this one here, we're going to press 1 and that will turn on our depth of field. Okay. So there is those ones there. And we now need to add in our controllers. So controllers are basically what connects things, runs scripts and stuff, actuators. Yeah, it's basically just scripts over here for properties. It's kind of hard to explain. I don't know, I haven't used the game engine in Blender enough to be able to explain it to a decent level for this kind of thing. But yeah, it works. It's on the site, so you should be able to get that fine. Alright, so let's add in. And add in an and add in a couple of Python scripts. Alright, so fun. Alright, so I'm going to connect that one up to the and is going to be connected to a filter 2D, and it's going to be the SSAO. So be custom filter, use custom to LA Silvertail script. Select the SSAO, connect that one there up, and that one there will do our ambient occlusion. It'll be very subtle in a scene like this, of this scale, but it will be there and it'll be effective, and it doesn't take much to calculate. So yeah, that's that one there. And I connected up the wrong one. We need this one over to there. Actually, that's the and. This one here was our look around script. Alright. So moving down, we have this one here is going to be our focus, set focus. So this is a module. I'm just going to copy this one in here. This one here will be another module. Get focus. Module. And this one here will be set lens. So these are just ways to interact with our scripts. Alright, so connecting these ones up now, we will have we have the rain coming in to our Python script. And we have our mouse coming in. So we'll be able to set our focus with the mouse, by the way. There's a little ball called focus which will allow us to set it. Okay, so with those two mapped into that one, we will keep moving down. So focus, get focus, and focus, set lens. These two here will be connected into the always. So they will always be as such, kind of. That's probably the best way to think about it at this stage. Okay, so let's add in a controller. I'm going to add in an AND. I'm going to add in another AND. And for these ones, we're going to connect in a keyboard and here into the AND. And we have, nope, just the one. I'm going to ignore the other one. Alright. So let's come over here, add in a couple of Python scripts. So that's a filter 2D. And add extra filter 2D. There we go. And this one here, we are going to set to custom filter. We're going to be using a depth of field.glcell. And the next one that we'll be using is a property. So we're going to call this one here, this is going to be a toggle, and this one is going to be set to show focus. Alright, so just connecting these ones up. We have connected into the first one, it's coming from an and this one is, make sure I get that right, and coming through. And yes, just this one here. Alright. Now the show focus one there that I was looking over, that one there allows us to press spacebar and view the focus. We don't need that one. I'm literally looking over at the script on the other screen, so this is what he's written. Doesn't make sense to you, don't worry, it only barely makes sense to me. I usually like to write my own scripts, but yeah, this one here is good. He knows what he's doing when it comes to writing scripts, and we can add them in like this. So just to go over this, if I maximize this. Alright, so our mouse one, this one here is come over to our mouse look. So we always want to have our mouse being controlling the camera's rotation in a nutshell. And these ones down here allow us to control our focus. So I'm just going to go File, Append, and just append in the little object I used before, which is called Focus. Go. Now this here is nothing special. It is literally there it is. It is a glowing sphere. A glowing sphere called Focus, and yeah, you can just create a sphere and call Focus. In fact, let's do that. Shift A, add mesh, add an A sphere. Hello. Apply the scale, and we're going to give this a, let's give it that glowing, there we go, material 2. And I'm going to call this one here Focus. Alright. So if we come in here and we save this as save as 4.2. We can press 1 on our keyboard there, and we can move this little dot around. And see, it's not actually doing anything at the moment. and it really should. So we're going to change a few settings so that we can get that depth of field working correctly. Alright, so I actually had to pause the recording there for a bit. What I had done is I had written focal focus here, and I had, I think it was doff there or something there. So that was just some typos on my mistake. That's something that happens from time to time. It takes a little while to pick up on these things. But yeah, make sure these are spelt correctly is something I should probably stress. And yeah, let's have a look at what it looks like when we've got all of these right. So press P. That's fine, like so. And press 1. As we get this vignetting and stuff, and we get all this blur. And what we can do is we can just click on things, and it'll put them in focus. And it recalculates all that for us. And you see sometimes it puts it out of focus, which is just what it decides to do with our scene, but it's something that will require a bit of tweaking, of course. But you can see that is kind of how you would go about creating effects in Blender's game engine. So yeah, as you can see, this is working quite nicely. Alright. So yeah, what you can do now is you can actually just get rid of that little sphere. You can make it transparent so that you can't see it. And it will work fine for you. The other thing we can do is we can actually zoom in and out with up and down arrows. If you wanted to have a sort of a fisheye kind of effect going on there, zoom right in, and this will give us orthographic. So yeah, just something to play around with, and yeah, that is pretty much it. Okay, so it is time to wrap up the tutorial. It has been a long time. It's probably longer for me than you, but it's been quite good creating these environments. So this is effectively a beginner's environment in Blender. Now if you find the colors are a little different on your screen, it's probably just, as I said in the earlier tutorial, the colors on our screens will be different. So you can go in and you can adjust the colors to your liking. We mentioned before about this light here, our main light. So if I just remove these, so I've got a nice big window. Go into these light settings. You can come over and make it blue, like so. Very nice. Nice deep blue over here. And this one here, blue as well. And we end up with a very sort of desaturated, nighttime, creepy kind of look. Of course, you can refine that as much as you like. So yeah, we've also gone in, we've added in those real-time, whoops, don't use that with a graphics tablet. Right, so yeah, we added in those effects, those lighting. Looks like it made my wall very pink, but oh well. Alright, so yeah, we've also come in and we've added in the depth of field there, so we can make things work. There is also on his website, by the way, there is a automatic depth of field, so you don't have to click everywhere, and it actually seems to work a lot better than this one. But this one's fun to play with because you can sort of like click and then you can adjust your position relative to your focus. So yeah, we done that. Get that in focus. There we So yeah, it's been a very intense course. So let me know what you guys think, what other type of tutorials you guys would want. Sort of, I can do basically anything. So I'm hoping to do an advanced tutorial on game development. This is a very introduction. This was designed for beginners, so I'm hoping it wasn't too fast for you guys. Hopefully you guys could keep up and everything made sense. If you got questions, let me know. I don't have time to read the comments underneath the YouTube videos, but if you jump on my website, metallics.co.nz, and chuck me the questions there, I'll be happy to assist you. So yeah, that's it. So this is the part in my tutorials where I start to say, where do we go from here? So this was our original concept. As you can see, we didn't create anything near as advanced as this, but we did block out an immense amount of the scene. We got a lot of effects down, and things you can do from here is this vehicle here. We did not make this, so I'd love for someone to come in and make this and put that into the game. The smoke, maybe make some nice matte painted backgrounds rather than my ones that were done in what, 30 seconds. There's a few bits and pieces just to refine the environment. And where to from here in the long run is I would love for you guys to come and make some game environments from your own design. Make your own things, some interior, exterior, whatever you want. And let me know. I'd love to see the stuff that you guys do. And yeah, that was pretty sweet. So that is it. Have fun with your newfound ideas, I suppose, new techniques that we've covered, and I will catch up with you another time. So yeah, my name is Alex Telford, and have a nice day.